True said, making another call. Let's do this the right way. Now, there's four things I'm gonna talk about. The same measure that I judge another, I be judged. Right? You're supposed to pray and then you move. So follow even when we don't understand. You know, it shouldn't always be where something is explained to us. We're like, oh yeah, now I'm gonna go do it. It's not. It's not how we're supposed to move, right? And we live by the word, no opinions. Talk about number one. Same measure that I judge another, I'll be judged. And I know this ain't good, but one thing about me is that if someone, I'm getting better, but if someone presented something to me, I'd be like, well, you should have just did this. It would have been better had you done. And I'm putting in unfair measure, right? Because the way I'm saying it is if I don't have sin, right? And it's not saying that I make it a regular habit, because I don't. But at the same time, all men will fail in this area at one point or another because we're not perfect. Jesus died for an imperfect people, right? So I'm being unrealistic with them and I'm being unrealistic with myself. And God says, since you seem to be naive with the grace that I have given you, so let's say, right, I struggle in the area, right, with lust, right, or with pride. But then someone else, they're like, well, I stole something. Like, you shouldn't have stole it, man. Like, that's on you. And God's like, that's how you feel. All right, so that same way, that same energy you had in that particular area with them, that's going to be put on you with your area of lust and your area with pride, right? I'm going to talk about number two. You pray and then you move. One thing learning, especially when you a leader in the body of Christ too, you're supposed to pray, the Lord give you an answer, and you jump. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about, well, the people around me, they're not really gonna be with me on this. They're not gonna follow. At the end of the day, God is my navigation device, right? He's the one I say guiding this for me. So if that's the point, I have to follow, right? Because I'm not living for myself, I'm living for Jesus. Not my will, but his will be done. So that's why I'm just gonna move on what he tells me to do. Right? Number three, I follow even when I don't understand. Things shouldn't always be explained. Now this is the one right here. Basically, I'm gonna put it in perspective. I usually get in trouble for this a lot, If something be said, my mom like, well, yeah, I don't need to explain myself to you. I don't explain myself to kids, And that kind of mentality that I had coming up, right, to where I didn't follow because I didn't know what was understood, right? Basically, that has followed me in my spiritual life, where it's like, well, I don't understand, so I'm not gonna listen. But at the same time, and that kind of show you too how basically the Lord training me up, right? Well, yeah, my mom was like, yeah, I don't have to explain myself to you. And that's what happens when you have question after question after question. Some things God will not tell you because he protected you, because you can't handle it, or because if you know the full plan, you're going to try to stop it. But at the end of the day, we want God's will, right, to be done here on this earth. And also, you can't stop it, right? So the fact that you well, I'm going to try to prevent, you just added extra steps for yourself. Because at the end of the day, y'all said it's going to be done this way, it's going to end this way, it's still going to happen. You just extended it because now you're like, well, I'm going to try to stop it. I'm going to prevent this. God won't always explain. He's going to say, jump here, you're supposed to do it. Right? That's what faith is. We don't know what it is. We don't know what the result is. We don't know why it's being told to us. But I have enough trust, I have enough love for God, right? I know that he won't steer me wrong. He won't forsake me. I'm just going to do what he says, all right? And also, we live by the word. We're not supposed to be opinionated. That was my last point, right? And that's why I said, let's do this the right way. It's not about, well, because I feel like for body of Christ, it's not that we have the wrong views, or we don't know how we're supposed to move. The thing is, we do know how to move, but the main thing is that we have people around us that are messing with basically our ideology, if you want to put it that way. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh man, the crowd's there. I don't know, I might have to step away from this. But when we move like that, we're not being bold, we're not being confident, right? It's basically who God told us to be and what he told us to do. And the thing is, when we move in opinions, we wonder why it don't work out the best. We wonder why we miss some steps. Or now it's not how we expected, not how we hoped for. At the end of the day, basically say it like this. God created you, he created me, he created the universe. And watch this. If God is the author and the finisher of our faith, why wouldn't I listen to him if you already know how it play out in the end? Right? Out of scripture for you real quick. Matthew 7:2. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. And the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. So basically, we gotta be real careful. Where we're like, you should have did this. With that punishment on you. You messed up. Right? It's so easy to point the finger until you get in that position. Like, oh man. Like in an instant, we're like, I would never do. But you never be put in that position. And one thing that I've been learning, right, instead of saying, well, you shouldn't have did that, or if I was put in that situation, you know I would have never did, you don't never know. But you can be like, well, I don't know. But basically, I pray God give me grace with enough common sense, right? Or he graced me to never be in that position, because I don't never know, right? Because flesh nature live inside of us. But I'm praying for grace that I don't end up in that spot. And that's how you grow up in humility, right? And honestly, that's how you have more influence. Because people can tell, you know, you're not on that high horse, basically. You're not inflating yourself. But you're like, well, I'm a son, right? Or for the girls watching, they're just a daughter of God, trying to do the Lord's will. I know I'm gonna mess up along the way. Shoot, I'm screwing up, but God like, yeah, I'm still gonna use you. And then watch this. Your love is increased to where you're like, I really want to fall into that nature no more. Because God is loving. You begin to see that. You begin to kind of walk out that righteous nature. You know what I'm saying? You have, the God, he grace you with more endurance, basically with more strength. Does that make sense? That's all I got for you. All right. True Saint, be back with another next week. God bless.